Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Fiona Reynolds and an ambassador for the Fens Biosphere project, and it's my job to introduce today's conference. Now, we all know there's a climate crisis. We also all know there's a nature crisis, but that knowledge seems both to have been realised more recently and to be less clear-cut than the climate crisis. And while there's a process for dealing with the climate crisis, and it's increasingly part of the public debate, think of Joe Biden's commitment to recommit to the Paris process. That's not the case in the world of nature. When was the last time you heard about a world leader talking about the nature crisis? But arguably, the nature crisis is bigger even than the climate crisis. After all, the nature crisis is about the health of the whole planet. And we're only now beginning to understand just how much we've disrupted and damaged the natural systems on which we all depend. So that's the big picture and the bad news. Let's start to focus in. Because damage to nature isn't the same all over the planet. Different places and societies have had different impacts. In some parts of the world, it's still possible to see nature almost as it was before humans began their destructive activities. But that's not true in the UK. None of our landscapes, from the highest mountains to the lowest fells, have escaped human influence, although obviously it varies. But for a long time, our disturbance was such that nature and human activity could coexist. Indeed, many of our most precious semi-natural habitats, places like heather moorland or herb-rich grassland, are the product of this coexistence. But sometime around the 1950s, our human impacts intensified to a rate faster than nature's ability to regenerate, and it's been downhill since then. There were two main drivers: the intensification of farming and our rapidly increasing consumption, putting huge pressure on natural resources. This is the period we now call the Anthropocene. The figures are alarming. For example, we lost a quarter of England's heather moorland between 1947 and 1980, and over 90% of our hay meadows in the same period, largely for intensive sheep and cattle production. Our lowland fens, though long subject to drainage and improvement, only became super intensively farmed in the post-war period. In addition, farmers then were paid to grub out hedgerows, ponds and other features, and conifers were planted on peat bogs and heathland. We lost not only rare and precious species, but common ones too. In fact, the greatest loss is perhaps abundance, with the clouds of butterflies I knew as a child rare indeed today. The irony is that just at this time, we also put in place the first significant statutory efforts to protect nature. The 1949 National Parks and Access to the Countryside Act established national parks and AONBs, and for the first time, nature reserves and other protected sites. However, it's humbling that the fastest nature of decline has occurred alongside our greatest efforts to protect it. Let's zoom in closer still and consider the landscape in East Anglia, and particularly the fens. We have to admit here that things are at a particularly low ebb. For example, Cambridgeshire now has one of the lowest proportions of priority habitats in England, only 8.5%, and the second lowest woodland cover, 4.8%. Moreover, half of the UK's Grade 1 agricultural land is found in the East Anglian fens, but these soils are drying out and eroding, the peat soils by over 2 centimetres a year, and the deep peat by about 1.5 centimetres a year. As a result, they now emit rather than store carbon. Even after the fens started to be drained in the 16th century, they remained a complex web of water and land. Today, within the fens, only 8 wetland sites remain, covering a mere 1.4% of the area. So that's the nature decline story, but there's more. The fens are places of great poverty, especially when compared with the booming economies, even taken into account COVID-19, of Cambridge and Peterborough. Their soils are becoming exhausted, so conventional farming is in any case in doubt. The area is vulnerable to flooding, and it's a water-stressed region due to changing weather patterns and the frequency of extreme events. So against this background, it's clear something needs to be done. And it must be a joined up solution that, as well as restoring nature, carbon, and the health of the fenland ecosystem, will also meet the needs of people and provide a viable, sustainable economic future for the area. What the fens need now is to be looked at as a whole and to have a secure future where their value to the nation, environmentally, culturally, socially, and economically, is knitted together for the long term. That's the aim of the Fens Biosphere, and I hope from what I've said that it isn't surprising why I'm proud to be an ambassador. But it's not secure yet, and today's conference is about explaining what a biosphere means, what it can deliver, and how we can all work together to make it happen. Biosphere designation is in the hands of UNESCO and provides a unique opportunity to harness the energy and resources of existing organisations, bringing ideas and action together under an agreed, joined-up vision. It doesn't displace existing organisations, nor is it about stopping things happening. It's about helping the right things to happen to benefit people, the environment, and the economy. The clear proposal is that the fens will continue to be a managed landscape where people live and work and creative things happen. But through the biosphere, the health of the fen ecosystems will be restored. Carbon will once again be stored, and economic activities will enhance rather than undermine the area's ecological and social well-being. Above all, though, it's a tremendous opportunity. For too long, the fens have been neglected, off people's radar, and declining in environmental, social, and economic terms. Now is our chance to look at this wonderful area as a whole, to celebrate its history, beauty, and spirit of place, to learn from and extend the gems such as the Great Fen and Wicken Fen projects that have pioneered nature recovery, to improve the quality of life for residents, and to create new opportunities for investment in sustainable farming, tourism, and other green jobs, and provide the education and skills that will help people take advantage of them. You've seen today's programme and the tremendous quality of our speakers, showing the excitement this initiative has generated. We want it to be an interactive day, so we've provided a networking lounge and lots of opportunities for you to chat with each other and the speakers. So please take advantage of this. There'll be a chance for formal questions in the panel discussion and live chat facilities in the workshops. And the online exhibition hall has stands from many of the organisations who are helping us. So please enter, look at the stands, and press the relevant buttons to download documents, watch videos, or simply have a chat with the stand holder. Above all, I hope you will end the day as excited as I am about the potential for the Fens Biosphere to make a real, meaningful difference to a huge part of this region, working at a landscape scale. Now, I began with gloom because we can't hide the facts, but I end with real optimism. We must reverse nature's decline while also looking after people's human and economic needs. We can do this, and here is a tangible proposition for doing just that. please get involved and help us. Thank you.